I didn't realize it at the time. That's when the Primal Mindset was born.
This is the Primal Mindset podcast coming to you from the studios on Long Island, New York, available on Spotify, YouTube, and of course, NGBN.TV, a men's network focusing on mental health for the midlife man. I am your host, Chris Fontana, founder of Go Primal Lifestyle and Apparel, creator of the Primal Mindset Partnership. It's an 8-week course. I work with you one-on-one. You're going to rise up, reset, be the best for the people that need you most. So head to goprimalusa.com, book a free call. Let's see if we can work together. Also use Rise Up 15, get 15% off the entire website, the apparel. So please check that out. My next guest is former NFL athlete Jeff Byers. He is now the CEO and co-founder of Momentous, a great supplement company that really just focuses on just overall health and wellness for not only athletes, but for the everyday person. Just an awesome guy. So here we go. All right. What's going on, Jeff?
Hey, Chris. Good to see you.
Yeah, man. Glad you were able to come on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Big things. Well, first of all, I got a care package, so I got a few of the protein samples, and yeah, definitely good stuff. I like it.
Love it. Yeah, appreciate that, and really good to hear. So it's been a fun journey of what we're building, and super exciting stuff to come still.
Nice, man. Actually, first thing I want to ask, because I'm always curious with football players or former football players, like, do you watch it at all still, or are you just kind of like you don't want to deal with it?
I'm like probably the worst example. I do not watch much football. I don't really watch sports at all, to be quite frank. I used to all the time, and when I retired from the NFL, like I just kind of stopped. And we don't really even have a TV at my house. I have 3 little boys, and we just kind of like pull it out for movie night and put it back. Right. And so like we're like a super active family, and I don't know, like for as long as I can remember, like in all of my formative years, like the weekends were sports for me. Right. And it's amazing. Now they're my kids' sports, right? And so I do kids' sporting events, and then, hang out. We go outside, we go skiing, we go sledding, we go hiking, we go biking, we go camping on the weekends. And like, I just get out of pocket. And I try not to be home because I feel like fall is a season that I never experienced when I was playing ball, right? Like I played football in the fall, and now it's like I want to be camping, or I want to be doing something other than watching football, which I did by formative years during the fall.
Nice.
So yeah, the answer is not really. I'm not a great fan. I do follow the teams and the people that I still know and still work with.
Right. Any of your boys play football or no?
No, they're still too young. I got my oldest is 8. We don't there's really not like a defined football, like young football thing here, but he does like everything else other than football. Who knows what happens in the future there, but but yeah.
Nice.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll cross it.
Yeah. I have a 4-year-old, so we're just kind of getting him into everything right now, and yeah, I mean, we're not really gonna try to push football, but I mean, as they get older, if that's what they do, then I guess that's the way he'll go. But yeah, right now I'm having fun with his karate and his baseball and everything, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're such a good age. So I got a 8, 6, and 5-year-old.
Oh wow, pretty close in age.
Yeah, we are like WWF, whatever it's called now, all the time, like trying to do flips off the couch onto each other. It's insane. So
yeah, nice, man. Yeah, so I kind of want to definitely talk about Momentous. Are you the sole CEO, or is there a co-founder as well?
I'm the CEO and co-founder. My co-founder is a woman named Erica Good. She's been we've been equal partners in this business since we started it a little over 4.5 years ago, and she's definitely the internal focus strategist, incredibly smart, and has a really beautiful background. But for me, like I'm very external vision, partnerships related, and it's been an incredible fit for the two of us.
Right. Nice. Yeah. I mean, it seems like you're a pretty smart guy as well. Were you always like, because I'm always curious when it comes to athletes, because obviously you have the ones that just that's their whole life and that's what they rely on. Like when you graduated high school and you went to USC, did you have in your mind, like, I really want to, I'm a smart guy. Do I really want to like go with my education and football is kind of secondary, or was it vice versa?
Uh, I I'll toe the line here and say I was probably pretty mixed. I was pretty mixed. Like I was very lucky. I came from a pretty balanced, well-to-do family,
Mm-hmm.
but we were definitely a sports family. And education was super important. Like I was a great student in high school and was really lucky to, pretty much go to any university that I wanted to. But also football really defined me. Like I was an incredibly good and gifted high school football player and even in college. And obviously that carried on and it's hard. Like, right. Society really values athletes and defines
Right.
them in a very unique way. Like there's no doubt like football defined me. And when I went to SC, like, I was on a very clear path to, being a very high draft pick in the NFL. But
Yeah.
like a lot of us, like we all have defining moments in our lives. And I got hurt really, really bad the last game of my true freshman year, and basically was told I'd never play football again. And it, right, those types of like bone crushing truths that when they happen, right, really make you realize what you love, what you're passionate about, and where you sit in all of this. And so I was, at a pretty young age, like consider it really fortunate looking back on it. I got grounded really fast.
Yeah.
Sports don't define you. They're a part of who you are and really can help build you, but they are who you are. Like they aren't
Right.
the defining factor of you. And so I really, kind of took this to heart that like ball doesn't define me. I define me. And ball is a very important part of who I was. And so I took a very different approach after that first year and really said, okay, what am I here to do? What do I love? Right. What makes, high level competitive sports so attractive to me? And, part of it's like this win, always a scoreboard, right. Having to make decisions, right. You kind of get what you put in, teamwork and like it just, and there's like this incredible amount of accountability that happens in elite sports and that stress that comes with that. And like you learn to thrive on it and thrive. It's a really unique thing. So I had a defining moment really early on in my football career and life that really helped me center back that football was something that was going to help craft me, but it wasn't who I was. And so I took school really seriously, knew that there was going to be something after football, didn't know what it was. Like most people, took me a couple side steps to figure it out. And which ultimately leads to where I'm at today at co-founding, and leading the company called Momentous.
Nice. All right. Yeah. So that I guess that defining moment or when you got hurt, is that, I mean, because right now, Momentous is all about, sports nutrition and like I think like more of a science to it, right? I feel like you have like a really good science team. Was that getting hurt? Like you kind of always interested in kind of like supplements maybe to come back from injury or anything? Did that play into a part of it at all?
Yeah, Chris, I think that's like it is. That's the it was a non-linear path to get here, but
Yeah.
I'll say one of the things, obviously incredibly gifted. And like one of my friends, Dr. Kelly Starrett, just calls me a mutant, right? To be able to play at the level you just are a freak in DNA.
Yeah.
Like I was just born with a lot. But one of the things that you realize is doing right, like high performance and optimization, and how do you stay at the level you're at? How do you compete with people who are maybe more talented than you are or less broken than you are? And you start thinking about, okay, where are these little things that I stack together? And what you learn is, right, what I learned in the NFL was there was nothing really earth shattering about high performance and like how do you achieve it. What is earth shattering is just that it's like this bone crushing consistency and determining what's really important to you, or what's really important and the highest impact to your goals, because nobody has unlimited resources or unlimited time, right, to be able to do everything right. So it's really trying to find this. And so this high performance sports science is something that I got really passionate about. I was like a gym rat. Like I love the weight room. But also I was super broken from an injury perspective and took really, really good care of myself and prioritize sleep. Like sleep, I was thinking about sleep before sleep was cool. Like probably.
Yeah.
It was just like one of those things that took a really interesting turn. So I was always really passionate, always was working with, our strength coach or the dietitian and just like asking questions, or our physical therapist, and that was something that was so important to me. And as I got out of the NFL, like as I gravitated back into now what is Momentous, it was like, how do we really think about high performance? And for me, being at the forefront of high performance and bringing innovation, skills, knowledge from the very, very top down to the consumer was a big lack, right? When I got into the real world, right? What happens in elite and pro sports and elite performers, and what happens for for me, like an optimizer, is a big gap, because there's a huge knowledge gap, and people like Dr. Huberman, Dr. Kelly Starrett, trying to shrink that knowledge gap. But really, one of the big reasons why we founded Momentous was to be at the forefront of high performance, bring innovation, bring products, bring knowledge from the best down to the consumer market, and really build a best-in-class company around here. And so really, like, why do we exist as Momentous? It's to democratize high performance. And we do that by providing the best products, help designed by the best experts and practitioners in the world, to the market, right? Whether you're trying to sleep better or you want the best protein, et cetera, whatever those things are. So yeah, that's how Momentous got to where it was. And there was a lot of love, sweat, tears, getting knocked down in the middle of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably good training. I mean, that you had probably your whole life, and with sports is a good way. You always got to get back up, man. And it goes into the real world. And I think that's what success is really all about, is just knowing just to keep getting up and keep going. So that worked out well for you, I guess, having that mentality, bringing it into to the Momentous family.
Yeah. Resiliency and perseverance are just so critical. Right? If you're trying to break the mold, like, be a challenger in the world. And it's like, you just are, like, you can choose not to push the limits, or if you choose to do something that's really, really hard, you're going to get smoked a few times, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's all right. That's how we learn. That's how we get tougher. I mean, I'm already teaching my 4-year-old, all about that. And there's no, I can't, I can't. You don't say that, you just got to teach them at a young age, and hopefully they keep that with them, and, turn out to be, CEOs or whatever it is, whatever they want to do, so that's good. What's your favorite product or supplement that you like?
Oh, I go back to I don't have a favorite, but I go back to what's critically important to me as a human. And I think everybody's a little obviously I have this huge luxury where we make, 30 some products, and I can basically get what I want. But when I say what's important to me, and I think about my lifestyle, right, it's really around longevity. So the number one is cognitive longevity, and number two is connective tissue health, right? Joints, ligaments, tendons, right? Like, the two things that are going to break on me as I age are those two things. And you can either choose to invest in them now, or you can to pay the price down the right. Like, cognitive health, right, takes a very long term. So I'll say, like, two things from a cognitive health perspective that have very strong data around, and, like, first kind of say, like, a really high omega-3, right, DHA, and essentially microdosing risk creatine daily, right? Both things shown to have really, really impact for cognitive longevity. That is really, really important to me, right? I hit my head way too many times. And like, that's what the most people. And then, right, I've had so many surgeries and I'm beat to all hell. And so really the research around collagen and vitamin C and how collagen improves connective tissue health for me is really, really core. And so I would say, like, those are the two most important things, but ultimately all things performance and optimization roll into sleep. And so for me, like, prioritizing sleep, like, we designed, like, our sleep, we have a handful of sleep stacks or sleep products, and a lot of them have been influenced with a gentleman by the name of Dr. Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist out of Stanford. And it's just, like, one of the great minds out there right now. And we built a sleep stack with him. And it's been really, really impactful in my life, as well. Just like, I was a person who always thought I slept really well. And then I started thinking about it and started kind of bringing in some of Andrew's sleep supplements, like just individual quality ingredients, and like how do you really increase the quality of sleep? How do you fall asleep faster? Right, like declutter the mind. All those things have been really pretty impactful. So I would say my two biggest states of need that I need to focus are cognitive longevity and then connective tissue health, and then sleep is always top priority.
Yeah. Andrew Huberman, I'm a big fan of him, and he's definitely a smart guy. Like, and whatever he says, I always pay attention to. I mean, sleep is definitely. I mean, I noticed it because I was always someone who worked a lot and really kind of like. I mean, I'm 43 now, but you know, when I was younger, I always kind of prided myself on being like not getting any sleep and still getting up and going the next day. But when I really noticed it was actually when COVID hit. And I was actually, you know, I had a few jobs, but, you know, obviously we were off from work, and my son just turned 1, but he was probably the best, you know, sleep. I have another 1.5-year-old who's definitely not like him, but he was like, I mean, by 3 or 4 months, he was 12 hours straight through the night.
Wow.
Yeah, just, it was amazing. So when COVID hit and I was home with him, like I actually didn't have to get up early and go to work, or I usually hit the gym before work. So I would get really decent sleep. And I just noticed like how everything was better, man. My energy, my workouts, like I was like getting like all trimmed up, like the fat was just kind of going off me. I was just like, man, that's they were not kidding when they said sleep, you know, is really you know, really important. And then, you know, unfortunately, then I had another son who was just not a good sleeper at all. So sleep kind of I need to kind of refocus on that. Hopefully he's better now with the sleep, but it's still, you know, kind of tough. Obviously when they get up, you don't get that straight through. Do you use like I heard the Aura rings are real good to kind of like gauge your sleep?
No, I don't. I'm not a big tech user, and that's like the one thing that I don't do. I've dabbled in everything from an Aura to a Whoop, and to me, like just me personally, it's very noisy. Rather than like I know what I need to focus on and do the consistent things, and I have found like like, oh, I slept like shit. Yeah, no duh. I had a kid in my bed, the dog, you know, had massive diarrhea at 3 a.m. Like, I know I slept like shit. You don't need to tell me I did that. Right. Like, and I know that's a bad, but like for me, it was so much noise, and it almost became like, why am I continuing to do this? Like, I'm not my personality is not one that I need that tracking or today. It's like the same thing when I train. Like people are like, oh, you know, like, do you train your numbers? And I was like, I train my numbers for a long time. Like I train because it's all for up here, right? I don't. I'm not training to bench press more because I'll never be able to bench press what I used to bench press or squat or do any of that, and that's fine. I don't like. That's not my goals. My goals is to be as healthy as long as I can, and I find that tech and trackers like actually like throw me off a bit more of like then it actually like bounces me in. And so it becomes too much noise in my life, and like I'm trying to minimize noise and maximize output.
Yeah. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
37.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, like I said, I'm 43, so I know it's like as the older you get, like obviously training and I was gonna ask you, like, are supplements different for like guys in their 20s and guys like once they hit their 40s? Like, is there like a different way? Because I know as you get older, man, you lose muscle a lot easier. So, I mean, I was actually gonna ask you about the creatine. You think that's, you know, one of the best things out there to have?
Yeah, I mean, like creatine monohydrate, right? To be honest, is a commodity, right? Creatine monohydrate is creatine monohydrate. At the end of the day, and creatine is one of the best studied molecules in the world, on the planet, right? What we know about creatine and the impact that it has on our body is quite massive. And so a lot of people like you and like me, previous to like getting around smart people, were like, oh, creatine is like a mass bodybuilding, etc. And creatine does have that impact, but really one of creatine's main functions is it's a fuel for your brain. Right. And it's incredibly important. So like why when we age do we like have a harder time gaining muscle mass, right? Because our testosterone levels go down, right? Point blank. Like, and creatine does not influence testosterone levels. Like, let's be you're right, it might have downstream or upstream effects on that, but like there are other things that you can be doing around, right, naturally boosting testosterone or hormone support, etc., that I think are really important. And right, some of it is just sleep, like our sleep cycle. Sleep is incredibly important. Morning sunlight, setting the circadian rhythm, right? Things like that are really, really incredible to hormone production, but also just like continuing to exercise, lift weights. And then there are like natural things that help free up testosterone in the body, and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, creatine is very well studied and is an incredible tool, both in strength building, but also cognitive performance and cognitive longevity. There's no doubt about that. Along the way, again, like, tens of thousands of clinical papers now on creatine across the way. But you're exactly right. Like when you're 20 and you're young and dumb and full of testosterone, like man, you go work out 3 days, and you're like, man, I'm looking good. Right. And for me, right, I played like my body and my mind and my hormones are a lot older than I probably am. Just because, hey, when you play the level that I do, like it literally ages you, and right, hitting your head lowers testosterone and all of those things, like those downstream cascading events. And so when you think about like what you need and what you focus on is very different, is 100%, right? Like you could like, for me, I played with guys that ate, McDonald's 6 days a week and they look like Greek gods. Right. And that has nothing to like, that is because they are full of testosterone and their bodies are just their engines are on fire. And you can put literally trash into them, right? And they still look like a Greek god and they score touchdowns and they're Hall of Famers. Yeah. But that changes as you age, and as you age, and everybody's testosterone falls, right? And it's how do you continue to keep it up, to keep the vitality up, is incredibly important. And so, we do have a hormone support bundle that we built with Dr. Huberman. It's got two natural extracts in it, Tongat and Fedoja, and both are herbal extracts that have Tongat has much a more robust data set. Fedoja is still gaining a data set, but has some really interesting implications to it. And those are ones that are like, it's not testosterone, it's how do you give your body more of the things that you need to free up testosterone or increase production just a little bit, before you go and start doing crazy things like TRT injections, and right, which has their place, I'm sure, but that's not where I'm at today. So anyways, it 100% does change, right? Our bodies change, our hormones change, and it's driven by hormones, really when you think about it.
Yeah. Now I'm curious too, with like the testosterone supplements, or the package you said you have, is that something that you would have to like continuously, like once you start taking it, you would have to like continuously take it to really see effects? Or like if you stop taking it, like you would immediately see the effects of not taking it? Or is it something that you can do bi-monthly or something like that? Or
I think with almost all supplementation, right? Like there are very few things that are good for you and that are legal, that have immediate implications, right? Supplementation by nature is, right, how do we supplement our diet or supplement our lives? And like this isn't a one and done, do this, right? This is how do we think about lifestyle changes, right? Because you have to think about how do we make behavior changes, right? Like one of the biggest things that impact hormones, right? Sleep, right? What's one of the biggest things that impacts sleep, right? Morning sunlight. And so like those stimulate hormone productions, and then all the way down to like, what are the foods we're eating, and are there supplements, are there natural botanicals that could potentially help? And so with Tongat and Fedoja, like there is some talk, and some experts talk about cycling, like doing 3 months on, 1 week off, or 3 months on, 1 month off, right? And just like, but it's also I think one of the greatest things about the era that we're in is we're learning that everything is personalized and not everything works for everybody, and we're all ends of one, because like, yeah, the human body is all very similar, but we all have different stressors, etc., that we all respond to differently. And so, you can get blood panels and draw and see, okay, after 3 months, what does it look like? Right, and change things up. And there's a lot of information and research. And so Tongan Fedoja is a daily supplement for most people. And then like you could cycle off of Fedoja, stay on Tongat, and then get back on Fedoja, cycle off Tongat, whatever that may be like. But I think the big thing is like, right, like, how do you scientifically approach supplementation as an N-of-1? Like, there are some people like, okay, I'll take the 20 things, just I'll shut up. But like, it's how do they impact you? But then also, how do you leverage the research based upon your goals, right? As a 43-year-old that's definitely slowing down, right? As a 37-year-old who's not very far behind you. Like, for me, it's like, how do I keep that up? And that's something that's important to me. It's not the number one priority in my life, but that's how I put it in context. And I think that's when people think about supplementation as a general, like, go back to like, okay, am I doing the right behaviors? And then let me offset the behaviors with the right supplementations for my goals or my biggest pain points across the board. So like, for me, I know cognitive longevity actually has more impact on my testosterone probably than anything else I can do. Like, cognitive, right? Like, your brain controls everything, and sleep. So anyways, I guess I went down a little bit deep, but
that's all right.
Yeah,
okay.
the other one from like a hormone support is zinc. That's pretty important.
I
as
heard
well. So, but just all those things are basics, and again, you got to figure out what's most important, and you got to say, okay, what's the potential value versus the cost, and outweigh those things, because not very few people have unlimited funds to do whatever they want to do, and it's all about prioritization and where you get the right bang. And I will say, like, the things around hormones is it's a pretty sketchy place to be out there. And like, we don't call it testosterone support. Like, it's a hormone support bundle. Like, and that's really, really important, I think. And as you think through about testing and certifications and things like that, and Huberman has really made Tonga and Fedoja well known, but there's not a lot of players out there that certify their products, et cetera, which is a big deal in this space, because it's really easy to increase testosterone with DHEA, right? Which is a banned substance. But right, that's why, like, it's really easy and important to do that.
I mean, I know you because you supply professional athletes with Momentous, correct?
Yeah, we sell to about 200 pro and college teams. We're one of the top suppliers in that space, and we do work with a lot of very, very elite athletes as well, which is incredibly important, right? Like, it's part of our reputation of, like, we work with the best minds, the best performers, and we hold ourselves to very high standards. At our roots, we were born in sports. We weren't born with like the optimizers, the Andrew Huberman audience. Like, we were born in pro and elite sports, and that's really where we cut our teeth. And a lot of our experts and scientific advisors are those people who work with those pro and college teams, like the behind the scenes that are, hey, this is what we are trying to do, et cetera. And we're also super lucky to work with the U.S. military and some elite circles in there. And what you find is those people are the point of the tip of the pointy spear, and that bleeds down over time, right, to the consumer. And what we said, okay, well, I'm not the expert, right? Like, why don't we leverage the experts to make the best products, right, and build, right, the products from the ultimate expert panel, and then democratize, like, how do we get people in the right products at the right time, giving them the right content across there, because we feel like that's really missing.
Nice. Do you work with Huberman pretty much daily, or is he?
Andrew and I, like, Andrew's incredibly busy now. I feel very fortunate to call Andrew a friend, and right on text on text with him, but he's, like he's also an incredibly busy human being. And I'm lucky that I get to pick his brain from time to time and go have dinner with him. But he's not somebody that like I'm chumming up, sending gifts to every day, like some of my buddies.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Like I said, man, I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah.
So so what's the latest with Momentous? Anything else that you want to kind of talk about, or any like latest that's coming out? Any new supplements?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that I'm really excited about. Like we launched this sleep pack, which is a really convenient, easy to use, like daily sleep supplement, and it's basically right 3 different supplements: magnesium threonate, L-theanine, and apigenin, and it's in like a single use tear pack right before you go to bed. I think one of the biggest challenge when we think about like optimizing wellness is how do you create really easy routines for people, and that is like a really easy, simple thing that like how do you break down barriers to increase quality of sleep, like make it easier for somebody to take things that help them sleep better. And then I'm really excited to continue to roll out some of our expert guidance and really bring to life some of the other people we work with this year. I think this year is really for us as a business about like really dialing in our customer experience and providing so much more value than just products, right? Of like, how do we bring the right resources, the right community, the right experts to bear at the right times for our people, so that right people are getting the right information on why are they taking omegas or why should they take an omega. And like, even though you might not feel omegas in 3 months, here's what the 20,000 clinical research trials about omega say. And like, how do we create, because ultimately, right, I believe if we are able to democratize high performance and give people a win to optimize their body, like that makes like healthy people are better in their community, are better, better fathers, better husbands, better wives. And you don't do that by doing something for 3 weeks or a week or 2 weeks. And for me, I'd rather get somebody into a set of products or a product that's incredibly meaningful to them and create long-lasting habits around that product to impact their life in a positive way, rather than like, oh, let's just try 50 things and nothing sticks. Like, that's not impactful, right? Like health, longevity, optimization of that is like, right, what I learned in pro sports is like bone crushing consistency is how greatness is made. And if you want to be right, if you want to have a very long, full life, it's doing the things right for a very long period of time.
Yeah, consistency
and that
is key, man.
And that includes supplementation. And that's why it's like, what's the most important thing to you, Chris? Right. And then let's stick to that. And when that is nailed, then you add something else. Say, what's the next thing I want to go knock down? And then you do that for a while. Then you just stack on top of each other.
Yeah. So do you actually do like seminars or stuff like that, or work with people one-on-one if they want to, like, say I came to you and like, I really want to optimize my sleep. So let's go. What do we do?
That's what I'm super excited about, is like how we bring that to life this year. Like, we've talked about doing it, like we call it like performance engineers, and bring in right some of our experts and give guidance, but also how do we create a really special journey of guidance, right? It's like, all right, I care about sleep. Okay, here's some learning modules around sleep. Oh, I can talk to a human being about sleep, right? That can help me get dialed. But really, how do we give the right resources to the right people at the right time, right? Not just like, here's everything, go learn, or sleep's important, buy sleep, right? No, let's walk you through the journey of sleep and understand why sleep is really incredibly important. Oh, if you have more questions, what's right for me? Here, go jump into this, live coaching call. Like, we would love to, we are working to how do we bring to life like one-on-one concierge, one-on-one chat, like so that, because what we find is people have a ton of questions too. When our customer service is like, half of our questions are just around like curiosity, right? And you're like, oh, we need to give people better content and give people access to smart people. So yeah, exciting.
Nice. Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I can probably sit here all night and ask a shitload of questions, but but yeah, it's good that it seems like you guys really, care about the products that you put out there. You care about the people that are taking them. So yeah, I definitely applaud you for that, man. So, and is it just on the website that the people can get the supplements?
Yeah, we're at livemomentous.com. We also are on Amazon, but give your money to Amazon, please.
Yeah.
I hope Amazon is not listening. They are.
They probably aren't. Don't worry, man.
Yeah, livemomentous.com. And there's a bunch of, there's good content and you can read about products, but you can also shop by category, etc.
Nice.
So anyways, thank you so much, Chris.
Man. I really appreciate you coming on, and definitely I want to send you a Go Primal shirt. So just let me know what size you are, and then I'll get that out to you.
Yeah, man. XL. And
XL, nice.
Yeah.
And
hey, I used to be a lot bigger than XL.
I was actually thinking, I'm like, shit, am I gonna have to get a triple XL because the guy played football. So I'm happy to hear that it's only an XL. I got plenty of those.
I'm about 70 pounds from my playing weight, so that's why it's like when I go to the gym and like people are like, "You're strong," I'm like, "Nah, this is weak sauce."
Yeah, that's
like you have no
strong.
idea. Yeah.
So that's
you
good.
Have no
that's
idea.
Good. I wish you went that way. I mean, I know obviously former athletes that probably go the other way. So I wish you did it the good way.
Yeah. Thanks.
But yeah, man. So yeah, I appreciate it, and just off air, just let me know where to send the shirt, and thank you again for coming on.
Love it. Thanks, Chris.
All right, man.